So here's the mug as it is now, and I want to add a handle to it. And of all the mugs so far, I mean, they technically could be either hand could use them, but if I put a right-handed mug on this, then I would want the handle to be on this side, so that as you're holding it, it kind of faces out to the audience, to the other people that might be sitting with you. So that's kind of some things to consider. One other thing that I haven't done yet to this mug is kind of fine tune it as far as on the inside and the outside, kind of cleaning it up. So I like to use paint brushes, and I'm kind of just coming in, and it's almost like you scrub a little bit with the paintbrush, and you kind of just move some of that slip around that you create by brushing back and forth over the clay. This also gets rid of some of the Mars that I created on the inside of the mug from my fingers and my fingernails, things like that. Because I like the inside of the mug to be smooth and not full of a lot of issues, because it's going to be a lot harder to clean if it has a lot of indents and blemishes. And so you do have to take a little bit of time with the brush to kind of come back in and smooth out and refine the inside of the mug, get rid of some of those blemishes. Like I said, it just makes it easier to clean, and it's just kind of cool to see the negative of the positive on the inside here. And what I mean by that is everything you see on the outside that pops out goes in on the inside of the mug, and vice versa. Everything that goes in, like the eyes and the nose, the kind of underneath the cheeks, all of that stuff comes in to the inside of the mug, and I'll show you that here in just a second. Just about done kind of cleaning up. There's a couple little holes, like right here between the eyes there was a hole. That just kind of becomes a catch for, I don't know, if you ever wanted to drink tea out of this, or coffee, or what have you. You know, that those different liquids, those different beverages tend to be a little bit more difficult to clean out of little blemishes, little cracks and things like that. So I really do like to spend a little bit of time kind of cleaning that up. And then, as I mentioned at the front of this video, or kind of the first series of this video, the inside of the mug has the canvas texture to it. And so I am coming back and kind of smoothing off that as well by doing this brushing, kind of making sure that the inside of the mug is smooth and clean. And I don't know, this part of the process takes a little bit, 10, 15 minutes, something like that. So I am just kind of, and I've used a much bigger brush. This is kind of like a maybe 3/4 inch flat brush, probably a watercolor brush at this point, or acrylic. Just kind of getting in here, again cleaning up some of those blemishes that I couldn't with the smaller brush. Sometimes it takes a couple sweeps with the slip on the brush to kind of fill in some of those little blemishes that we don't want on the inside there. Smoothing out the bottom. scrubbing back and forth along the seam, moving the clay around, getting inside the cheek there again. Sometimes you can't really see the blemishes from one angle, so by turning the cup a full 360, you might be able to see something that you didn't see that was like kind of beneath your nose, so to speak, behind you, underneath you. So you really do want to do a full 360 spin here. Kind of get in there, clean, smooth. Almost done here. So that kind of completes the inside cleaning, but I really haven't done the outside. So there's some blemishes along the nose here, inside the eyes that I still haven't got yet. So it's kind of just a complete once over, if you will, with your brushes. Kind of do a full sweep back and forth. You can see that some of that slip is starting to build up on my brush from just from moving the brush around, kind of sweeping over, and then it kind of backfills some of those troublesome areas. Obviously, for inside the nose, you can't use that big brush, so here I am coming in with the smaller brush. I'm kind of scrubbing, kind of getting inside, cleaning up some of the fingerprint marks and things like that, some of the blemishes on the outside. Some people might like the aesthetic that those blemishes create. It kind of looks like it's weathered, it's not perfect. But that's fine. Like if that's your thing and you're not into this kind of fine tuning and stuff like that, it's really a personal preference. I tend to like my stuff to be smooth for practical purposes. Since this is a functional piece, I don't want to have to get out special little scrub brushes and whatnot. So here I am going over kind of the gums, kind of backfilling some of the little lines, reference lines that I created. You just kind of brush that clay around. Haven't really got inside this other eye yet, so I'm doing that now. Adding a little bit more water here and there periodically so that I can really get in there and smooth some of the blemishes out in there. It's just kind of fine tuning at this point. And I will see if I can turn this into a bit of a video where it's time lapse so that what's taking me in a half an hour, 45 minutes can be shown in just a few minutes on a YouTube video. But I like to kind of soften up those gum lines a little bit here for the teeth. Kind of get in between the teeth. Clean up some of the marks that were left on the teeth from the tool. Make those look clean. And then I do kind of like to come back in, just kind of fill in that gap a little bit that I originally put behind the teeth to make them feel a little bit more three-dimensional, but make them a little bit more protected so that they don't get broke off. You know, handling, setting down, putting on counters, putting in cabinets to put away, what have you. So, I don't know, I'll probably spend a few more minutes doing this. I kind of like to wipe off some of the slip that's on the brush and then push it back into some of these gaps that I'm seeing inside the nose that the tool's made or that my fingers made. So this process here, it could take a while depending on how detailed you are and how fine you want to make your sculpture. I really like to clean up some of those gaps. All right, so that's looking pretty good. I'm going to get out my handle materials. We're going to add the handle, and then we're going to call it done. We'll have to sign it, so we'll do that in front of you. But we'll go ahead and turn that off for now. Try again.